Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's July 5th. This will be our chart listening for the day, and I hope everybody had a great 4th of July holiday. I generally take those half days off. I used to try to trade those, but it's not worth your time and effort. You can see we had what happened. That was all we had on Monday, so not much happening. Um, you don't want to get stuck in a trade, and I mean, the price action still works, everything's still valid, but you just don't get much movement, so you don't want to get stuck on a day like that. But today, we had a two-tier channel working down a break and a new low, and then we went into um, another channel that just wasn't quite as steep. It's probably two-tiered. I didn't even put the second tier on it, um, but I'm sure there's probably you can see it right through there. Another nice two-tiered channel. So it was all downhill today, basically. Um, we did have our break here at a new low. So at first I thought we might have a reversal here, but didn't happen. Then we went a little flat here. There was maybe one long, and then once it was obvious this was another channel, notice there's no more longs. It wouldn't take any more longs. It's all short all the way down. So um, let's back out a little bit, talk about the trades, and wrap it up. I'm really late getting this done. I had a lot to do to catch up from the holiday, so um, but notice that we're working down. We had the break here. We're working down. I don't think you want to risk a. This is 7 o'clock right in here, so I don't think you want to risk a long. So we're looking for a possible short setup. But notice how that trend starts working up. You get a first entry short. Um, you're just kind of going sideways, and then you get that failed second entry short that bounces, and you get a nice reversal. Notice how it pushed through the EMA. That's generally what a reversal pattern looks like. So I like going long there. Uh, it's a quick, easy scalp, but you just don't get anything more. It turns back down. I don't think you want to go short. You do have a close outside this trend and a new high, but it could be that there's a bigger pattern here. So I don't think I would go short yet, especially with it just going sideways there. When it pulls back, and notice you can kind of get a trend line off those first two. You can definitely draw it off that one. And when you get that bearish bar there, it did push right on through the EMA and pull back. But mostly it's a failed second entry long. Notice the new high, pull back, you go first entry, pull back, you go second entry. So that's that reversal trap. It pushes through the EMA, two attempts to go higher, nice bearish bar, just go short there. And then it pulls back again and confirms that trend line, a third touch, and it's like a little breakout pullback short too. So you figure we're going to test this low. This thing that's really a nice trade, and any runners would have been safe on that one most likely. So that was a really nice trade. Um, then we just kind of start going sideways, but we're still inside this channel and we're kind of bouncing down. Um, This one I was a little bit leery of. It's real close to being green, but that is a very bearish bar. Notice the new high. There's the second entry long that fails, and there is enough room to get out before that double bottom, but the closes are generally what I like to use, so it's a little bit scary going short into that. So um, that one's real close, but I left it green because it is right off the trend line. Nothing's closing outside it. Um, at that point, you had to be thinking, hey, we may get another measured move like this one down. But you only get enough for a scalp, and then it bounces. And really, this one should probably be green. It's a little ways away from the EMA. It's a failed break below all. Look at all that support across there. It's a failed break lower. There's actually a failed second entry short there. You don't want to go short right into that support again. But I don't think you want to go long right into that EMA. It is a second entry long. It would have worked. You get two legs up, but when it turns back down and fails right there and bounces right off that low again, you figure we're probably headed to this other side, and we may find a low for the day. So I like that one, just simply because it's a failed second entry short. After two measured legs, you got one leg, then a pullback, and then another leg. And so I like going long there, and that turns out to be a really pretty good trade. pulls back again here, and it is a second entry long. Really, you probably could have, this one probably ought to be green as well. It's real close to, you might even could argue for blue on that one. The only reason I don't is that you got a little trend line working down through there, and you really do kind of get a close outside the new low. And you're looking for prices to at least come back up and confirm if this is a good trend line or not. And you got enough room. So that one probably should be green. I'm gonna leave it green. Then it pulls back and tests it again, but I don't want to go long right into that. Too risky. But when it touches up here, and look how bearish it opened on this very high, closed on this very low. I like going short there. You may not have even could catch that trade because it dropped really fast. You probably had to put a limit order. Whether or not it would have come back and got you is questionable. You really had to be ready for that trade and drop your order in there fast. It does pull back here. Look how it shoots through the EMA, pulls back, tests it, turns down. But I think you need to wait for it to come back to the trend line. Actually, you don't know where that trend line is yet, but I think you need to let it come back and get your failed second entry long to get a for sure reversal. Again, you might could make an argument for that one being green, but I would probably skip that one. I'll go ahead and make it green. I think the better trade is to wait and see if it'll come back and give you a failed second entry. It really gives you a double top. Failed second entry long. Notice the new high. Pull back first entry. Pull back second entry. Look how bearish. Go short right there. And then it actually comes back again. Tests it again. It gives you another big bearish bar. And this one is somewhat of a breakout pullback short. You can see pushes through, comes back, but it comes right off that trend line. Then it comes back and gives you another double top right there. And gives you another, that bar is awfully big. I don't know if you can get in that one or not. Let me see exactly how many. It just is 8 points, so to get your stop above it, or 8 ticks, I'm sorry, it takes 9 ticks. It's pretty close. You might could have got in with a limit order and still made the rule. So I'm going to leave it red, but it's real close to being green. And then, of course, we bounce down here. But this thing it's an obvious downtrend. I just don't think you should, even though we're probably going to come back to the EMA, look how far away. Those are real tempting, especially that far away, especially if you know pretty much you got a trend line down here. But again, it could probably be green. But once we went on through and got that close back to the high, you really just don't get a good setup anymore. I'd just wait on the short here. You get your break, push to a new high, and look how bearish right off the trend line again. Just go short there. And then this one, I'd rather skip this one because you're going short. It's really a repeat pattern of another one over here. Where was it? Somewhere over here. But anyway, it's kind of a repeat pattern, but I would skip that. But when it turns back up right there and gives you your failed second entry long, that's your reversal pattern. Everything's below the EMA. Look how bearish that is. Just go short right there. And you might use a limit order on this one, but it doesn't matter. You can just go short there. It does start going sideways, but when it pulls back and it gives you another bearish bar and it closes right inside, just go short right there. And you're looking for prices to come all the way down here. We do bounce again down here, but I wouldn't go long. And really, you don't want to go short till you get your reversal pattern almost. Notice the new high, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. And even then, this one's questionable because of all that support right there. You just about have to use a limit order and let it come back. That one really ought to be green, I'll be honest with you. And once it didn't go anywhere, I definitely wouldn't go short below that one. This was your better trade. It pushes on through, pulls back, and it pushes through the midline. But the fact that we didn't get back, we weren't down here yet. What normally happens, we go from low side to the high side to the low side to the high side. And notice how we went through the EMA but didn't get to the low side, and we didn't get back to the high side. So that leads you to believe we're probably still heading lower, but there's no guarantees of that. So you got to be real careful in here. So this was your better trade. I wouldn't take this one at all. This one was the trap, and everything was below the EMA. So I felt pretty confident on that one. It's not a perfect signal bar, so you'd probably want to let it drop and then drop a limit order. And you would have gotten filled on back in here because I watched that one. So there was a possibility of getting short on this one, but I would have skipped this one, and this was the better trade, and it took off pretty quickly, and that was a nice move down. And notice your first leg down, and then be hoping for a measured move, and you see that would have got you at least to right in here, but this thing went on down to the low end, and it bounces. But I wouldn't take any longs at this point. And this was the first break, and it just kind of took off. So you really didn't get another chance to enter. That was probably the last trade I would have taken, was that short right there. So you might have considered taking that one. That one probably should be green as well because it's right off the trend line. But hang on just a second. I'll explain it to you why I don't like it being. Notice that you got your trend line working up, and you don't have a closeout side till here, so there's a good chance it reverses and goes back up and makes a tick or two new high, and then turns down. It doesn't do that in this case. That's a pretty big bearish bar, and it's still a good ways away from the EMA, so that makes it probably worth, if you're being aggressive, to take that trade. And there's a second entry short here, but that signal bar is not very good, and this one's not even very good. So I wouldn't risk anything into that late into that 2 o'clock. So this would have been the last trade I took. This one's real tempting to go long down here. You could probably make the argument for them both being green as well. I'll go ahead and mark them and just explain to you why. Look how far away we are from the EMA. We're bouncing off the low. There's a good chance we're pulling back, and especially on this second attempt here. And look how nice reversal bars those are. This is the one that would be real tempting to me, because really your trend line's right there where that arrow is, and you had your break and a new low, and you bouncing off the lows. So there's some reasons to argue for that one. On these counter trend trades, you will lose money, and I think you're better off to skip them. But I'm going to talk about them just because I know somebody will ask about them. But yeah, it's pretty much all downhill today. Lots of trades. I mean, you could be done by 10 o'clock easy today, and have 3 or 4 or 5 trades. So really good trading day. It was a little slow getting started, but there were some good ones early on. So you only needed 1 or 2 of those to really do well. So, but anyway, I hope everybody had a great 4th of July weekend. I'm happy to be back and kind of get back in the swing of things, and hope you are too. But I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.